All right, hello everyone. I kind of have some. I saw this. My opinion. New. I have all my opinion. Everything I say is an opinion on Holochain, but there's this update that just came out. Not really update, but this new report. And I like to read it to you guys because I think this is something very very interesting. So, Holochain, while everyone who's like, oh man, it's like, and I'm one of them. You know, it's like the only thing. Supposedly, they're trying to be the only ones that's doing what they're doing. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, as far as technology is concerned, um, their own special, I don't know, function. A Holochain has its own function. But I literally woke up this morning and I was like, I got to read this because I think it's important for anyone that wants to invest in Holochain, and actually understand exactly what's going on. So this is kind of good news and bad news, because the good news is that people who are invested in Holochain are on the right track, right? Because we're realizing that some pretty intelligent people are starting to figure out stuff, right? And this article is actually going to show us why. The bad news is that Holochain is now going to have competition, and I mean some serious competition. So here's what's happening. And this is an article, not by me, obviously, but by a guy by the name of Yaya J. Fonsway. I'm going to say Fonsway. Um, but it says he's a former CIA analyst and is currently an adjunct senior fellow at the Center for a New American Security. Okay, I want you guys to keep that in mind. Like, this is an article from this guy, all right, on November 10th. So, here we are. I'm gonna read this out. I'm a pretty fast reader, so but I really want everyone who. By the way, if you don't know what Holochain is or what they're trying to do, go back to some of their videos on their websites. I'd rather for everyone to do their own research and hear from horse's mouth of exactly what's going on. But also, I want you guys to check this out. Um, so here we go. I'm going to get right into the article because I think this is extremely important, extremely interesting. This is where technology is going to go. Okay, here we go. U.S. national security policymakers are working aggressively to push back China's global market advance in 5G and artificial intelligence technology. Meanwhile, the Chinese Communist Party is progressing unfettered in a parallel technological campaign, expanding global blockchain infrastructure. Okay. Earlier this year, Beijing launched the blockchain-based service network. Okay. Now, this is earlier this year. A system of low-cost backed architecture on which software developers around the world can build blockchain applications, including digital assets such as cryptocurrencies. The launch happened a few months after Chinese President Xi Jinping pressed for the nation to leverage blockchain technology to complement the rising economic importance of big data and the Internet of Things. This is one of the things that I was talking about before. I was talking about, and I brought this up. I was talking about how America's behind. I think I have a short video on why America's falling behind and why China is actually going ahead. This isn't me just saying, oh, I like China or anything like that. It's just me being realistic of where things are going. While we over here in America are over here arguing about stupid, I'm gonna keep my language right, but while we over here arguing over stupid stuff, an entire country is actually moving forward and progressing and actually coming out with new technology, and they're advancing at an extremely fast pace. Now, here we go. This BSN has received little attention in the U.S. Naturally, the United States don't ever catch up on anything until it's too late. Well, I shouldn't say ever. Recently, we've been falling behind in innovation, in technology, and everything else in between because everybody wants to control everything. They don't want to share the pie. There's millions of dollars to be made out there, and they don't want to. In the United States of America, they don't want to spread the wealth, sort of. So that means that all the big tech companies are trying to have everything for themselves. But I'm telling you, things are about to change And obviously, in the next 5 or 10 years, the whole landscape is going to look completely and totally different. But here we go. Um, U.S. It says it's received little attention in U.S., but if network gains significant international adoption, it could give the CCP greater influence in digital commerce and complicate U.S. economic statecraft. For decades, U.S. financial authorities have benefited from the ubiquity of U.S. computer infrastructure in global business. The BSN is trying to challenge that norm, and obviously, I mean, just look at what's happening. They're coming out with a digital yuan. Now, obviously, this is going to be connected to the digital yuan. They're going to have their own internet. In what they're trying to do. And according to the website, it says that the network's purpose is to become the blockchain internet. Blockchain internet. We all know, where this is leading. CCP leadership believes that blockchain technology offers a foundational infrastructure for future technological innovation and that China should set the global standards in that arena. To begin doing so, China is inviting blockchain developers to build decentralized software applications on the BSN's Chinese-run servers, even cross-cloud, cross-portal, cross-framework, global infrastructure network. Essentially, it is the plumbing for people to run decentralized computer systems via the network. Now, obviously, this is the exact same as Holochain. So what's happening is they're running on blockchain. Holochain is trying to what China is trying to do is obviously it's going to be run on Chinese run servers. Okay, so while that it's not good, and while Holochain boasts something better, the problem is that once China, and by the way, this is someone who is in that work for the CIA. So if someone within the CIA is recognizing this, you can best believe that other countries are taking note and are finding out, are figuring out how to be more competitive, except for the United States, at least not in front of our eyes, because as far as I'm concerned, the United States is walking around blind. People are ignorant as well over here. I don't want to get too much into it, but that's just the truth of the matter. So here we go. China State Information Center, an entity under China's macroeconomic planning agency, oversees the BSN. The center designs information security policies and process economic data for the CCP. Several state-owned tech companies, such as financial services firm China UnionPay and telecom firm China Mobile, run the technical architecture. Such as networks, nodes, and servers. The Chinese government argues that software developers around the world would save money. By the way, now we're entering in what Holochain is really trying to do. And basically is to do something cheaper and save money. It says the developers around the world will save money by using the BSN's computer infrastructure. The BSN charges several $100s per year for server space that would cost developers tens of thousands of dollars if it were provided by Amazon Web Services or even the private Chinese internet firm Alibaba. At the same time, the BSN uses cloud space provided by U.S. firms AWS and Google Cloud, in addition to Chinese tech firms for building its infrastructure. But according to the BSN user manual, its services are cheaper because the network facilitates more efficient server usage by sharing computer resource space across users through a permission distributed ledger system. The CCP's pitch is that the BSN uses a distributed system to take advantage of traditional service architecture and innovate beyond it. Pay attention, people. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. So people who are involved with Holochain, and by the way, if you haven't listened to my last video, you guys will know I'm a open-minded person, but I'm also very grounded. I'm kind of excited about this report for a couple of reasons, which I'll get into later. But the main reason that I'm excited, not excited, but I'm interested in this article is because of the fact that, okay, we've all been, especially us investors, we've been invested in Holochain for a long time now. And now we see that China has been doing something, and by the way, this is an entire country. Okay, this isn't some little, some little build up, what would they call it, startup. This isn't some kind of startup, like, guys from a garage or whatever. This is an entire country recognizing what Holochain, what the Holochain community has recognized. But obviously, China is a country, is a centralized country, so it wants to keep everything within itself. I'm going to read more of the article, which is very interesting, but I want you guys to understand what is happening here. Several popular and highly capitalized um, blockchain projects have taken up BSN on its offer, integrating their chains with the BSN and enabling developers to create applications on the network. Some of the blockchains, such as Ethereum and Tezos, include many developers from Western nations. These blockchain protocols are more robust than Bitcoin, enabling developers to code smart contracts that facilitate more complex transactions and programs. In recent years, projects associated with these newer blockchains have raised hundreds of millions of dollars with the aim of creating decentralized applications and business ventures. Okay, so what's happening here? Obviously, they're gaining attention, gaining their traction. And then in this article, I really like this article because he brings up the statement. So why hasn't the BSN received more attention within the U.S. national security policy circles? As blockchain experts will admit, decentralized applications have yet to find much market adoption outside cryptocurrency speculation. Despite great hype around blockchain and distributed ledger technology, even diehard cryptocurrency enthusiasts are still waiting for a decentralized killer app that proves the tech might reinvent the global financial system. As one blockchain developer who raised millions for a project but saw his company flounder put it. So, yeah, here's what's happening. People are still behind. That's what's happening. While the education is out there, people still, I don't know. I guess people are still watching these TikTok videos and stuff like that. And by the way, I guess it is funny. My friend had me watch a couple videos and stuff like that, and it's just I guess everybody else in the world knows what TikTok is. I do, but I'm just not very into it. I'm kind of like to live my own funny little life. But it is funny every once in a while. But the point is that I'm trying to make is people are not paying attention to exactly what's going on. So, but I talked about this before. You have to be able to look ahead. You have to be able to see what's part of the future. And that was one of the reasons why I personally am invested in the Holo token. Now, obviously, I would like to be invested in Holochain as a company, but we all know that that's not necessarily the case. The only thing you can do is invest in the Holo token, which, if you saw my previous videos, my concerns for Holo token, I'm not going to go into that right now. This is all about understanding what else is out there and what other countries are doing. So, the elusiveness of global blockchain adoption is exactly why China's strategy deserves attention. For example, for one, the BSN is trying to significantly reduce the input cost of blockchain technology development, which would increase cost savings and help keep blockchain projects alive as they seek users and profitability. A similar dynamic enabled China's outsized role in Bitcoin mining. Chinese computer processing companies dominate the Bitcoin mining industry largely because they operate in Chinese provinces where hydroelectricity is cheap, allowing them to sustain wider profit margins even when the Bitcoin's volatile price drops. You guys see what I'm saying? So here we are. This is why I get so frustrated and I get so upset with people over here in America, especially politicians in America. They're concentrated on a lot of social issues, which is important. But one of the reasons why we're having social issues is because we're not updating ourselves on living more efficiently, on doing things that's going to make an economy stronger. Okay? Because once an economy is stronger, then we can deal with social issues and different things like that. It's so funny. I make it similar to marriage. And I'm gonna bring this up because I am divorced. But when you're married, you might have a whole lot of problems at home, but I promise you, your main goal, especially, well, for me, and some people don't understand this, you have to put food on the table. You have to work. If you don't put food on the table, everybody's gonna starve. It's gonna make everything 10 times worse, right? So if everything is 10 times worse, then things are gonna get worse. Your relationship is gonna get worse. Things kind of get better when you start making money, and then kind of get into a flow, and then you can concentrate on what's going on. Husband, wife, trust issues, everything else in between. All those little things. While you should always be working on those things, those are things that you have to survive. You have to take care of your family. You have to take care of your kids. Your kids got to eat. You got to take care of your family. So if in America, they're not taking care of their family. They're not taking care of the people. They don't. I'm going to say this. Over here in America, it's all about money, and it's all about keeping money in one place. But it's not giving money to the people, and it's not spreading any money or any wealth to the people. I'm not saying that China's doing that. This is not a China-U.S. comparison as far as how they're treating their people, and from an economic standpoint. I don't want to get into that because that's a deep conversation, and I can rant for hours, and I mean hours on that, breaking everything down. I'm not going to do that right now. So continuing on before I get too sidetracked. It says a similar dynamic enabled China's outsized role. Okay, yeah, I already read that for hydroelectricity. So the BSN is then also important because it accentuates China's broader push toward an information-based economy and supports its strategy to dominate in financial technology and become a cyber superpower. This is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna read. In recent years, Chinese leaders have stressed that the Chinese economy must pursue informatization, developing programmable and smart business systems built on the internet and device data, machine learning and analytics. Blockchain experimentation, whether it has scaled up to wide use or not, is where researchers are working on many difficult computer science challenges associated with internet ecosystems, such as digital identity management. Research and trials with distributed ledger technology will likely unlock technological insights and breakthroughs. Okay, so here's what's happening here. This is my opinion. Actually, let me go ahead and read the next paragraph because it's also important. An analogous situation occurred in the United States during the space race. NASA harnessed tremendous intellectual and technical capital to enable the moon landing and further space exploration. This led to a variety of spin-off inventions, from global positioning systems, or GPS, to freeze drive-thrus and camera phones. In the same way, blockchain technology is a means to the end of a greater technological sophistication. Obviously, again, some people might read this and say, wow, man, Holochain's on the right track. Well, of course it's on the right track. But the problem is can people get it together? Look, I understand, like, when you're building an infrastructure, when you're building certain things, it takes a while. I'm just a regular investor. So, I want to use my money wisely. I want to see where this is going, right? And to be honest with you, if they had a digital yuan, if it was a cryptocurrency, it's just a fiat currency. It's a fiat backed, it's a cryptocurrency. So, it's not, why? But I don't want to get into that. But if it was a cryptocurrency, if China had, I don't know, if China was like, yeah, we're going to adopt Facebook's Libra or whatever. But obviously they're not going to do that because they want everything to run through them. But if they did, I would be investing in it. And if I could not invest in it in the United States of America, I'm going to call a friend over somewhere else. I'm going to give them the money and tell them to invest in it for my ass. So I'm just saying, like, we all see where this is going. So it just says, and continue on, the BSN is about not just bringing blockchain-based activity to service in China, but also expanding Chinese reach into service outside the country. The network will have infrastructure in Hong Kong, but also in San Francisco, and at locations in Australia, Brazil, French, Japan, and South Africa. The CCP is not subtle about its aim to bring this international plumbing under its influence. As the BSN white paper says, once the BSN is deployed globally, it will become the only global infrastructure network autonomously innovated by Chinese entities and for which network access is Chinese control. You see what I'm saying, people? This is what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, with Holochain, it's for the people, not just for China, right? But the technology that's here, we're understanding that the technology is here. So my question to people, to leaders, not people, to leaders and politicians in America, what are you doing? What are you thinking about? What's going on here? And how, by the way, this is not something that's subtle. This is something that they're actually trying to do. Slap in front of your face. And you mean to tell me y'all can't think of anything? Now, obviously, I like Holochain. I like its development. I like what they're trying to do. And honestly, if I was in America and I was combating that, yes, I am being biased because, yes, I do have hot tokens. But I would be like, this company already kind of has the infrastructure and they can fight against, not really fight, but they can kind of get ahead of China because in this case, it's Chinese run control. In the other case, it's all the citizens, and which is supposedly the message, right? Freedom, being able to do, being able to see, being able to communicate the way you want to communicate, right? So that's what Holochain, providing that community, that's what the Holochain community provides. But I'm telling you right now, if they can't get it together and a whole entire country can get it together faster than they can, and they've been working on this for years, there's going to be some problems. There's going to be some problems. It also says, for this reason, BSN could undermine movements for human rights and political freedom. See, they're just what I mentioned. Much of the blockchain developer community has strong libertarian leanings, promotion decentralized application as means for censorship resistance, and to fund protests against authoritarianism and state brutality. But ironically, the BSN decentralization effort is authoritarian owned. The CCP accepts the irony and has bifurcated the BSN just as it has separated Chinese use of the internet, where the government blocks many sites from users in China. The system will run with the domestic BSN portal, where developers can build only closed permission applications and where decentralized cryptocurrencies are not allowed to function, and a global portal, which will allow open applications but will not be accessible to users in China. It seems unlikely, however, that the global portal will be allowed to operate freely if the CCP finds its hosting applications that greatly counter the party's interests, like programs that would excuse me that would support anti-CCP protesters in Hong Kong or human rights advocates. And just as National Basketball Association in the U.S. dares not to criticize Beijing repressive tactics because of the money it earns in China, it is feasible that the leaders of various blockchain projects will not voice objections to China's human rights violations if their chains rely on Chinese infrastructure. You see what I mean? So this is all about morality over income, because this is right. This is absolutely right. If money, we all talked about money, like I said before, especially over here in America. Well, I shouldn't say over here in America. I should say everywhere in the world, all governments. It's all about money, right? And so if you look at, they talked about the basketball association, the NBA. I remember when a couple of the NBA leaders and players, like LeBron James and stuff, they made comments on China and different things like that, and then they had to revoke it and apologize, all this kind of stuff. Why? Because they were losing money. It's all about money. So it's not about, let me tell you something, people. It's not about doing what's right or what's wrong. Like I said before, I think I have a video about how I was arrested over here in Florida from LA Fitness because of the fact that I was shooting free throws and other people wanted to play, but they didn't have any rules or regulations, and I was there first, and I just wanted to shoot. like I said, very short thing. The right thing is that the person that was there first, especially if you have no rules and regulations, is to say, hey, you know what? This guy was here first. Let him do whatever he wants, and then he'll leave, and then everybody else can do whatever they want, and then all is good. No, in the state of Florida, you have rules talking about, well, if a company asks you to leave, it don't matter what the reason is, you have to go. Why? Because it's not about doing what's right. It's about making rules and regulations to control people and make money. Okay, so it's all about money. It's all about you're not able to sue a company or organization because they ask you to leave for discriminatory purposes. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that because obviously I'm getting way off track. But it says, looking further ahead, national security policymakers should watch out for the BSN's potential to hinder future investigations, enforcement action related to digital currencies. Absolutely. This is what I'm talking about. Not first off, this is going to get way more complicated because once Holochain, once the Holo ports are activated, and everything else in between, it's going to create a problem because China, what if China allowed, I'm not saying it would, but what if it allowed, and it's talking about this right now, the U.S. Department of Justice recently released a cryptocurrency enforcement framework that lays out significant national security wins against cryptocurrency-related crime, including interdicting Islamic State and Al-Qaeda Bitcoin funding campaigns disrupting North Korean hackers, laundering stolen cryptocurrency, indicting ransomware operatives in Iran, charging Russian operatives using cryptocurrency and election interferences, activities, and breaking up all this other good stuff. Okay, the point is that guess what? It's all in there, but once China comes up with this, there's no way that it's going to be a completely and totally different internet. There's no way that they're going to be able to find out anything. Hello, America. You're not in. I'm going to tell you this. United States of America, I want y'all, I want the leaders. If there's anybody that knows any leader, anybody in a within a political office, please ask them a simple question. What is going to happen when nothing can be traced? And by the way, the technology is out there and it's coming. We all know this. Well, nothing can be traced. People are exchanging money and funds and everything else in between. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just like there's nothing you can do about the cash, right? You take $5 and I go and disappear off of the face of the earth, and I can do whatever I want with that $5. $5 million. If I have it cash, I can do whatever I want with the $5 million. Ain't nothing you can do about it unless you can see me physically doing it. It's the same thing. Once this technology comes out, things are going to happen. You're going to charge someone. You're going to say, oh, well, we want taxes for you making money from this. Well, what is it? Well, I don't know what it is. I'm just charging you taxes for it because you're using this. America has no idea what the hell they're doing. They have no idea what the hell's going on. And it frustrates me because these people are, they're from Harvard and they're from everywhere else in between, but they are not being proactive. And not only that, but they're not educating people, right? They're not doing all these things. We're not being educated when it comes to technological advances and different things like that. Oh, and by the way, we talk about, I'm into virtual reality and different things like that. Let me tell you something. I know where this is going. I know where it's going, and it's not going to be a pretty picture. So I'm just throwing it out there. It goes on for more stuff about illicit actors and stuff like that. But it's also, it says, the good news is that while China's blockchain internet is in its infancy, the U.S. has time to follow its development and respond accordingly. You see what I'm saying? You guys see where this is going? This is something that I believe a guy in the last YouTube, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but you made a comment about how someone else is going to steal their technology. It's true. That's what's going to happen. They're going to steal their technology. And so everyone who's involved or invested in Holochain, please be mindful that, or the hot token, please be mindful. And by the way, I'm only thinking about this as an investor. I'm not thinking about whether China's good, US bad, Holochain is better, or the Holo community. I'm just thinking overall in general. and as an investor, because I want to make money, right? I want to make money off of the Holo token. That's just me personally. I'm throwing it out there. I know that for a fact. But here's something that I'm extremely concerned about, because obviously this is something that's going to develop over time. We will see where this goes. But as I stated before, Holochain now has competition, and I don't think it's just going to be China. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. If you listen to this rant, I appreciate it. Stay safe out there.